skip it. See it or skip it. See it or skip it.
Welcome to a new See It or Skip It, where we're going to be dancing the night away with the Ballerina, and we've got stuff with Wes Anderson. Everything is symmetrical. Plus, what is going on with streaming? What happened with the Titan submersible? And the new Predator is actually really, really good. I don't know. I'm your host, Patrick Beatty, and I'm so happy to be here. And joining me are both of my favorite film critics, Rebecca Frost and Richard Bonaducci. What do you guys have for me?
I've got the latest Mike Flanagan Stephen King adaptation that I loved.
And I've got Wes Anderson's latest one, and there is a lot to talk about.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. You'd think that there would be all the same thing to talk about with the Wes Anderson movie.
Possibly.
It's the same thing as the last time, but that's okay. Before we jump into everything, you see this QR code on your screen. Make sure that you scan that. That will take you to all of the stuff that we're putting out, whether it be the podcast, where you can like our social media, anything like that. Make sure that you scan that. But with that being said, let's jump into what is in theaters, starting with...
I know you. I know your pain.
This isn't done until they're dead.
Buena suerte, señorita.
Ballerina. But the real title of it, I believe, is
From
John Wick.
World of John Wick, Ballerina.
Yeah, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Like, there's a big, long subline to it.
You need
Do you
a lot
think we
of
really
letters.
needed that? Like, when you see this trailer and you know who's in it?
That is the biggest giveaway as to what you're going to get with this particular movie, because it does rely extremely heavily on the crutch of John Wick, and instead of believing enough in itself as a pretty good action movie.
It does have a lot of good action. Richard, what did you think of Ballerina? This is Ana de Armas doing her thing, but Keanu Reeves is in here too.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of DNA still. There's a lot of good fights.
Sure, oh, for sure. And I actually thought Keanu Reeves was in there just enough. Me
Really?
personally, yes, I did. A lot of people walked out of the theater, and I talked to them, and some said, "Where's John Wick?" Some wanted more, and I thought he was in it just enough to say, "Hey, this is a Wick franchise piece," right? But I also thought there was an incredible amount of action. And a lot of it looks very practical, you know, done in camera, and she does it well, I gotta say.
I will say, I am an Ana de Armas hater, but I do like her as an action star. I think she does some great work with action, and what a cool character choice that they made with her. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but she never preferred guns. She always preferred a knife or an explosion.
Yeah, she does a lot of that.
Like, she uses guns, but they're
And
not
flamethrowers.
they're not her first
But it's
choice.
the creativity of Chad Stahelski that I think brings in that uniqueness. And there's a lot to talk about with that, because it's the director is Len Weissman of this. That's what it says on the bill. But from behind-the-scenes stories and what we have heard, Chad Stahelski apparently was brought in to do a lot of these action scenes.
Sure.
A lot of the big things that people are like really excited for. So I guess the question to me is, can you tell that Chad Stahelski came in, because that affects things, but also, do you go to John Wick to care about the story? Does anyone really?
You better not.
Oh.
I mean, kind of. The thing I like about the John Wick movies is everyone's an assassin.
Yeah.
And
there's rules and
there's
consequences. It's all kinds of stuff. And Keanu Reeves is always great, but he doesn't live up to what, like Ana de Armas, they don't match well.
No.
And they don't have a lot together in this. Keanu just kind of shows up, does a thing, pops back out, or shows up and kind of clears the runway for her to do what she needs to do, which to me felt like it cheated her out of those moments. That was my big gripe with this movie, is that the third act kind of just goes, whatever we're going to do, we're going to land on this part.
Yeah, to me, the movie felt like I was a passenger in a car watching the exits go by of all the possibilities of what this movie could be. Like, oh, Ballerina School? No? Okay. Oh, subverted wolf and cub story? No? Oh, okay. Sister revenge story? No? Okay. We're just going
the
past...
sister storyline really irked me, too. Because it came out of nowhere, and it ended just as quick as it came in. Yeah. Richard, is this still a see it in the theater, though?
Well, I actually think they might explore all these things eventually.
John Wick 7, the ballerina.
I really do think the John Wick part of it was to introduce her to the folks, and maybe her next one is going to be all on her, and maybe the school. or maybe not the sister. Maybe, you know what I mean?
Spoilers.
But I mean, you know, it's one of those things where there's a lot of disbelief you got to suspend for this movie.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the John Wick movie series take place over the course of like a week?
So there's 4 movies, and the timeline confirmed takes place between the 3rd and the 4th.
Yeah, when does he have
during
time?
Parabellum.
When does he have time?
Oh, because John Wick. Yeah.
At the same time, he has to
how long was he in the sewer with Lawrence Fishburne?
And he punched his ticket with Angelica Houston, so why is Angelica Houston calling him in for a favor?
And where's Halle Berry? She was way
Again,
good in the 3rd
And where's the dogs?
A lot of this
There was
is-
one dog. I noticed. They were like, we need to have a dog in this still.
That's the thing. A lot of it's just not going to matter. It's an excuse for action sets.
And the action, it works really
And it's
well.
great.
The action's fantastic, but the movie doesn't believe enough in itself to be a
That's the problem.
standalone action movie that just happens to exist within the world of John Wick.
Well, I think they're using John Wick to introduce her. That's my take on it. It didn't bother me. It will bother me if she is another one and they do it again.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, let her be her character then.
Well, I don't know why you don't like Ana de Armas. We're going to have to explore that when the next movie comes out. But it is a skip it for you?
Listen, I'm a big action movie fan, so like if you like action sequences, I'd say see it. I'm 6s.
It's not too long either. It's a fairly decent runtime.
Yeah,
you're not just waiting for things to end.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
It's a qualified see it for me. If you're into action flicks, you don't care about anything else, there's a ton of really cool action pieces in this. There you go.
I think
that's
y'all are
what it's
putting
for.
too much of John Wick on a pedestal because all of these movies are the same. And I don't even know if this is the worst John Wick movie. I think 2 is likely the worst. But Ballerina, still a see it for me, still one I think people could go in and have some fun with, and is worth the price because you see it on the big screen, and that sound design can't replicate that in your home.
That was pretty good.
Pretty great. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about Ballerina, but I think we got to move into Wes Anderson now.
At this moment, rescue workers are laboring to recover and identify the remains of Zsa Korda, international businessman, maverick in the fields of armaments and aviation, among the richest men in Europe. This was Korda's 6th recorded airplane crash.
Now, here's the thing with Wes Anderson. He has a style that always evokes the same thing. You have these characters that all look like they've had lobotomies, let's be honest, but they dress really well. And all the dialogue is very monotone, very same thing. And we get that in every single Wes Anderson movie. And I love Wes Anderson, which makes me so sad that this is the first time that I saw that. And I went, are you just copying yourself now? Is this
Now
yours?
you're thinking that?
I thought it with Asteroid City, but I don't want to say it wrong. This was the one where I went, uh-oh, he saw the TikTok trends, and now I think he's just playing the joke on us.
Yeah, we actually saw this together on a man date. And
A matinee.
I'm writing
mandate, a
things
mandate.
down, and at the end of it, he said everything I was writing down.
Huh.
I was
just
reading
went,
what
oh,
you were
wow.
writing,
Yeah,
but-
can
no
you guys
way.
repeat this list
There's
verbatim?
no way you could read my handwriting. But I was sitting there going, okay, if you're going to see this movie, you're going to get all of the stilted shots that you normally get. You're going to get all your quirky characters. You're going to get all of your chapters, but you're not going to care about the story or the people at all.
Yep.
That's the
Benicio
way
del
I
Toro
felt.
was a great actor, too, and that's what bugs me. The only acting in this that I was like, wow, this is exciting, was Michael Cera. And I was like, how did I not know he fits perfectly in a Wes Anderson movie?
Do you know what Benedict Cumberbatch said about this in
No.
particular?
When I knew it was him, I was like, oh.
Benedict Cumberbatch said, Wes Anderson discovering Michael Cera is like God discovering water. One, how does God discover water? But also, it makes sense. It's like Michael Bay discovering drones. It
Yeah.
just makes sense.
The FPV
And you
ones
know
were
what?
heavy.
The cast is incredible, and I think they're great in it. But in the end, it ended, and I went, ugh, so what's now? It just, there's no emotional connection.
Is it like the quirky actors Adam Sandler type thing where they're all just kind of going for vacation, but you can get all of this great talent because you're in on the vibe? Like, Wes Anderson is a vibe, not
Paycheck's
really.
a paycheck.
Yeah,
Paycheck's a
a
paycheck.
bag's a bag.
But if you also like working with this particular group of people in Wes Anderson as a director,
There's that.
like,
He might be a great person to work with and collaborate
Oh,
with.
I'm sure some of them went, whoa, work with Wes Anderson? Yeah.
yeah, of
Absolutely.
course. For me, it is like a comfort meal. right? Like, I know exactly what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna enjoy it. And,
I knew what was coming.
And I'm gonna leave full. And I liked it, but I also like Wes Anderson films. I like his style, and I don't understand when people complain about his style because by now you know what you're gonna get.
It's not the style so much to me. I really think it comes down to, are these characters different from the other characters you've given us in the past? And a lot of them just kind of have similar quirks, similar mannerisms that to me it's like, Royal Tenenbaums was its own thing. Moonrise Kingdom was its own thing, and I could clearly separate those. This, Asteroid City, a couple of, you just can't really separate them anymore.
I kind of feel like another actor is playing that character from the last movie. And for me, I want a movie to give me something. Like, if it's a comedy, make me laugh. If it's a horror film, creep me out. If it's a drama, make me cry. In this movie, I went, I don't
Hold on,
care.
Richard. Here, have a hand grenade. That's a big joke.
Me, myself, I feel safe.
It does feel like the one note that Wes Anderson does seem to give everybody is more stoicism.
Yes.
Like a
and
Pinterest
and
board
more.
about trauma is kind of what he says.
What a great cast, though.
Always.
But they
It's
don't always get
And
a
I'm
lot
not
to
trying to dog him because I don't like him. I'm trying to dog him because I love him. And I want him to work on it.
Yeah, I want him to do. I did like, there were some aspects to Benicio del Toro's character who has a near-death experience. And so he has these visions afterward, and I liked those. And I wish there was more of that.
Well, for me, it's probably going to be a skip it. I don't know if you guys could tell. Richard, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's not one of those movies that I can say, oh, you're going to love this movie. I would skip it personally.
Yeah, same thing. I'm not going to say, oh my God, if you love Wes Anderson, you're going to love this. Because, like I said, it is comfort food. It is, you know exactly what you're going to get. And it delivers on exactly what it promises.
That is true.
Well, with that being said, make sure that you show us your favorite Wes Anderson style picture that you've taken of like just standing with a thing. Let us know
A
what
lot
you
of
guys
space.
Curated.
Yes. Either dead center or way off to the side.
with a corncob pipe,
That's right.
something like that.
Pastels.
Well, with that being said, that's everything that's in theaters. But let's jump into what's streaming.
Always thought the world was going to be waiting for me, and instead, everyone's annoyed that I'm here.
Kelly? Yeah, I'm gonna be camera off today. Yeah, I'm in the office. Yeah. There's just some construction in my cubicle. Oh, it's getting louder.
Yeah, adults. It's on FX, streaming on Hulu. But it is the classic formula of, 5 to 6 20-somethings trying to make it in New York. But this time through the lens of like a Gen Z audience. So it's something I don't think we're too familiar with.
I'm not.
I pretend to be.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What? Try to be cool. Bet.
I don't even pretend anymore.
But it's a group of kids living in a house in Queens, just trying to function as an adult in 2025. And I've watched the first 2 episodes. It's executive produced by Nick Kroll. So if you like Nick Kroll type of humor, it's very much that. And I've been having fun. It is a lot more crude than you expect from a show like this, but that's the evolution.
But Nick Kroll.
But Nick Kroll, and that is the evolution of this particular type of show. And I really enjoyed it. I bust out laughing quite a few times.
I watched the first 2 episodes, and that first scene in the pilot episode is shocking and very funny. One of my favorite shows growing in my 20s was Broad City.
It's so Broad City.
It feels very similar to that, and that's good enough for me. I'm a little older, so maybe the stuff doesn't feel as relatable, I guess, that's on me. But the big warning is, if you're not a fan of like the crassness and stuff, not for you. Don't even try this.
Yeah, it is very crass, Rich.
And I like it.
But what do you think about a story centered around Gen Z?
Gen Z.
Gen Zers. What would you think the problems are, having not seen it?
Oh, maybe their Wi-Fi isn't working.
Yep,
Or it's
probably.
too slow. Yeah, something like that.
Lactose intolerant.
Existing as a youth in the workplace, I think they tackle that. I'd never really considered that aspect before, but they actually tackle it in the pilot episode, and I was very surprised at
Lots of late-stage capitalism
Yeah.
stuff that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, it's all
capitalizing
gone.
on victimhood.
Oh man, there are some great episodes in this. Do you think do you want to come back and talk about it once it's finished?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I think it's one to go
I'll
back
check
into.
it out. I haven't seen it yet.
So check that out. That's on Hulu right now. Also out on, this is on Netflix. It kind of came out a week ago, but I think this is a great one.
When I was a kid, I always viewed my dad as larger than life. Like, he was a doctor, and in his free time, he got his law degree. That's how much he didn't want to be a dad.
For someone just like watching a stand-up about kindness and about how to treat people with kindness and about your family and about maybe the struggles of a parent aging. How do you deal with that? It was really well done. And I think Mike Birbiglia is so well at giving these long storied stand-up specials that last an hour, but it's one joke basically. But there's so much in there, and he makes a meal out of it that you feel like you're watching his life as he's describing it to you. I love Mike Birbiglia, and I know you do too.
Yeah, I do too. And this special in particular, I think we're entering a phase of this particular type of comedian telling stories about aging and their parents, because Sarah Silverman has a special on Netflix now called Postmortem, where she talks about the death of her father and stepmother like 9 days apart. And so it's really cool to kind of...
Hilarious.
So it's kind of cool to grow up and age with these comics and these particular stories that they're telling, because they stay relatable.
Yeah, and you see how he evolves too.
Yeah.
And like he's got throwbacks, he's calling back to certain things.
He's calling back to his very first special, and I was like, whoa, that's a deep cut.
Except I'm old enough to see the arc that we talked about off camera, that they've got their crazy early comedy, and then I'm never going to have kids, and then they have kids, and then it's all family and raising kid comedy, and now it's taking care of my parents comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite
Which
a
is
thing.
why-
Gaffigan just stayed on one setting for a while.
Yes.
Yeah, which is why I was really nervous about Eliza Schlesinger's comedy evolution, because she had kids, and I was like, oh boy, her comedy is just going to be about her kids now, and it's not. Which,
Her last special was great. It was in Salt Lake. I didn't know they filmed it here. But Mike Birbiglia, definitely somebody that I think is family friendly. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe there's some crassness. Maybe he'll throw out an F-bomb somewhere in it, but that's kind of comedy. Like there's a little bit of that somewhere.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Brian Regan levels of PG though.
Him, not crass.
Yeah. Oh,
You can tell me later.
I'll tell you about it later. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
so
older.
with that, let's see it.
See it? Yeah.
Definitely
I
see
love
it.
Mike Birbiglia.
Very easy to cover. But that being said, let's talk about Predator, killer of killers.
My son, tell me why we fight.
Because our enemy still lives.
You all have traveled far and missed the warmth of home. But tonight, think of only one thing. Killing the monster.
This is crazy. It's an animated story, got the same animation design that you've seen from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a little bit.
Cool.
So very cool looking. The director is the same director that did Prey. And what this feels like to me is I did not get the chance to make a $200 million live action thing, so I'm gonna make it here because I can give you everything that I was planning on, and it's crazy.
Well, and they kept this a secret too, and I was blown away when I saw the trailer, because we know Badlands is coming out later this year, same director, Dan Trachtenberg, and he was like, in the meantime, I have more Predator stories I would like to tell. So here's an animated series, and it looks so cool.
It's told in 3 parts. It's 3 individual encounters with the Predator, kind of like 3 different preys, really. They're different time, different setting, but they all kind of coalesce at the end. It's so cool to see the designs of like these weapons that the Predators are using, but how each chapter, it's a fight that's completely different. One is in the air, one is underwater. Like there's all kind of different scenarios. If you're a fan of this franchise, even if you were let down on most of them, because this isn't the best saga where every single one is a banger. Like if anything, the first one is great and Prey is really good.
Prey is fantastic.
And this is gonna be added in that to me. It's absolutely, you see it.
This kind of reminds me, in a weird way, of Star Trek Lower Decks, because everything reminds me of Star Trek. Yes, because the animated series does what other series couldn't do, and they use the animation to do a lot of stuff that probably would have been really just prohibitively expensive to do.
Right.
All these different worlds and all these different scenarios and things. And I think someone went, we got these Predator ideas, let's do it this way.
Well, they definitely took the feedback after Prey came out, and we were all like, we want to see one in samurai times. We want to see one in dinosaur times. And they were like, you know what? Yes, that sounds so cool.
Yeah,
Say less.
exactly.
How about both?
Say less.
Oh, yeah.
Samurai T-Rex.
If this guy's been hunting us, show us.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and apparently this new film that they're coming out, it's going to be through the perspective of an actual predator too. And they do a little tiny bit of a world build with what they are up to. It's just a race that wants to hunt everything.
Yeah.
That's all they care about.
Hence the name.
Hence the name. Yep. No Arnold Schwarzenegger in this. Eventually, I'd like him to show up in something. I don't know, even a voiceover of someone falling. Just yeah. But that being said, it's definitely a see it for me. The other one that's on streaming really quickly is on Discovery. This is a documentary about the Titan submersive.
Carbon fiber will be 1/3 the weight of a similar titanium structure.
Right.
If you look at other deep diving subs, they tend to be spheres because the shape is the ideal shape for pressure.
Right.
A cylinder is a better shape for actually doing something.
This was an experimental vehicle. It had never been to Titanic at this point.
Hang on here.
We all rely on that spidey sense. We all have that little voice that whispers to us. In my job, I've learned I have to really listen to that voice.
There was a documentarian that was covering him building this and trying to make this in the moment. And you can see the people surrounding this guy who has all of the money in the world that could do everything, not be able to hear any criticism on how to handle this or how to fix it or that there could be some issues.
Well, you don't stay a billionaire by spending all your money.
And it's so ironic that it's about the Titanic in a lot of ways. And this is
About
also
the hubris of...
Yes, the hubris of not considering what could happen. And the trek down to the Titanic is an insane one for anybody. I don't know why James Cameron keeps doing it.
He loves the water.
He's nuts.
He loves the water, and he loves, yeah.
Tom Cruise loves his stunts.
And he's
James
nuts
Cameron
too.
loves his water.
I'm just glad they're nuts on camera for us. We get to enjoy it.
Yeah, but I think that's definitely a see it if you love documentaries. But I really want to hear what you two think about the movie that's coming out next week.
The universe is large. And it contains multitudes. But it also contains me.
Sort of. Been out for a while.
The release schedule for
weird.
this movie, The Life of Chuck, has been kind of crazy. It's been at festivals since last year. It's released limited this week, nationally next week. The latest Mike Flanagan joint. So if you like Mike Flanagan, you know, Dr. Sleep, Midnight Mass, Fall of the House of Usher.
Or if you like Stephen King.
Or if you like Stephen King. So I did read this story because I have to read a story before I see the adaptation. And this, would you believe this is a 5-star Stephen King story?
Wow.
Yeah.
And well, coming from you, I think you've told us
I don't like Stephen King.
Yeah.
And this short story was fantastic. And the way it's adapted, nearly beat for beat. And Mike Flanagan, I think he's an S-tier filmmaker. So he did a fantastic job adapting this story for the screen. And I'm biased. I love everything he does. And I think he never fails. So
Now, I'm not a huge Stephen King fan either.
Oh, cool.
Every now and again, some things. And I like to read the book after. Because I want to go in cold a little bit. I don't want to be going, that wasn't in the book, or whatever. I know I'm going to do that, right? And there are only so many movies that have made me want to read the book after, and this is one of them.
yeah, and the movie is nearly exactly like the short story.
Oh, then I'll skip it.
Oh.
So here's my question, because you're saying Stephen King, you're saying Mike Flanagan, and I am picturing some evil, some ghosts, some it. It seems like this is the exact opposite.
It's wholesome. It's wholesome. It's
like
sweet.
Big Fish with Tim Burton.
Kind of. It's poignant. It's sweet. It's about, you know, living life while you're alive.
But there are ghosts.
But there is a bit of a Stephen King.
It's the kind ghost where it's like we're gonna help each other out.
Some apocalyptic.
Some apocalyptic stuff.
But it's not leaning on that. The message is about kindness.
Kindness, living your life to its fullest, not being afraid to be who you are. You know, and we all contain multitudes.
Yes.
Is it one you need to see a couple times to understand?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
The thing I loved about this movie, because when I read the short story, I didn't quite understand what was happening in the first third. And the movie really elevates the story. So I left going, oh, how did I miss this when I was reading the story? And it really, I think it spells it out.
you know what? Because I didn't read it and I went in cold, I was like, what is happening here? And it's somber, and I dare say it's one of the best depictions of an apocalyptic sort of view that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Without CGI, without cars falling into cracks in the earth, and it's done in a way that you would expect it's going to be. It's going to be a slow burn.
The waiting is the worst.
The waiting is the hardest part, Tom Petty says.
Wow.
And it's good.
It's so good.
It's really good. Okay. And what's weird is it's so kind of somber at first, but then the other acts, one is just pure joy, and the other's a mix.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I loved it. I want to see it again. I don't think you have to see it again to get it, but I want to see it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's Mike Flanagan, so he's got his recurring cast of actors that he loves to work with, and they love working with him. Everybody makes an appearance. Carla Gugino, she has a voiceover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, everyone that works with Mike Flanagan loves working with Mike Flanagan, so of course they are there.
And the editing is really great.
He did the editing. I didn't know
it's
that.
really good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm about to ask now, right? You guys have hyped this a lot. Is this in your top 5 of the year?
For me, yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Is this in your top 3 of the year?
I don't know. So far, I feel like I've only given out 3 5-star ratings, and 2 of them have been Stephen King adaptations.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a good point. It's in my top 5 for sure.
For sure.
Wow.
At the end of the movie, I was going, wow.
I really hope that I like this.
I hope you do too. I hope we haven't built it up too much.
I did wonder too
It's
because
on Wednesday, right? It comes out Wednesday?
The 12th.
Whatever
Thursday.
that day is.
But same thing, like the movie was really hyped before I saw it, so I do kind of wonder, am I taking this pre-hype with me into the movie? But I think it holds up.
If it can withstand it, that's even stronger in a lot of ways.
And a fun little side note, there's a woman in there who plays drums. I won't get into it too much. But she is known online as the Pocket Queen, because she plays in the pocket. She plays really well.
Oh, cool.
And as soon as I saw her, I went, that's the Pocket Queen. and she ends up, that's how they bill her. If you saw in the end the Pocket Queen. And I'm curious if somebody saw her online, because she's not an actress per se, she's a drummer. So I'm wondering if they said, we got to get you to do this.
Yeah.
This might be her first thing, for all I know.
That's really exciting. You've hyped me. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, I'll go with you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a date again.
Are you buying again?
Yeah, we got. With that being said, what do you guys think is the best one people should check out this week? If you have to tell them,
This week?
you got to watch it this weekend.
In the movies?
Either one. What's your top winner of this show?
Oh, gosh.
Of the show? Life of Chuck.
Life
if you
of
can
Chuck.
Well,
find
it's not
It's
in
not
theaters
If you
yet.
can find it, go get it.
That's such a lame challenge to
We
give
found it.
a region that doesn't have it in
We're
theaters.
critics.
No. We just went and saw it.
There are secret
out.
screenings and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
there were screenings.
But let's take that one off. What's the winner? Is it Ballerina? Is it Phoenician Scheme?
For me, it's Phoenician Scheme.
Oh, for me, it's Ballerina.
You know, weirdly enough, it does end up going to Ballerina if you got to choose something in the theaters. But the strongest one for me still is probably Predator. Like, if you can see Predator and Ballerina
said
together,
theaters.
that's a great
You did
action
say
combo.
theaters.
Say theaters.
I'm not good at following my own
He's changing the rules.
Much like
Changing the
John Wick.
rules.
I will
Just like
break
John
rules.
Wick.
Yes.
Truth and
There's no
consequences.
rules, actually. They just break them all the time.
Well, thank you again for breaking the rules and coming over here and talking with me. Where can the people find you, Richard?
I am on Fridays at 106.7 with Hooker and DB in the morning, and here with you as well.
Rebecca, thank you again. Tell people where you're going on. And you've not even mentioned your Star Trek podcast. Sorry for bearing the lead there. I've not even mentioned it. What do you have going on?
So you can find me every week on the Geek Show podcast or every other week on my Star Trek podcast called TV Show in Space. And every now and then you can find me here on Good Things Utah.
And the handle?
At @YouGrossRebecca on Twitter and Instagram.
There you go. Make sure that you follow us. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. It takes you to everything. Thank you again so much, as always, for watching. Here's a sneak peek at what is coming out next week.